Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news show, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show is live on Monday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Thursday at noon, 3 and 6.
Coming up, River Festival success story, new Southwest ambulance, and more.
And also a peeping charge, McPhee drought plan, patrol horses with weather, sheriff's report, and area happenings. Today is June 12th, 2017, and now the news at noon. The Dolores River Festival again pulls in tremendous musical talent and appreciative guests. Add a gorgeous day, and it made for another successful year. DCTV attended as well as the Cortez Journal reported. The beats of reggae, funk, and rock and roll reverberated off the canyon walls as thousands of music fans lounged in the sun or hit the dance area during the Dolores River Festival this past Saturday. By midday, the crowd at Joe Rowell Park looked larger than in past years, according to festival director Ryan Robeson. And with bands alternating between two stages, the music never stopped. They may beat their record of 2,300 attendees from last year. Dancers with hula hoops joined families with kids jumping up and down to the beat of the music in front of the main stage. Hello Dollface was a great band to kick things off. An entanglement of sounds, it truly set the stage for the long day of entertainment ahead. To escape the heat, more than 160 people took advantage of free raft rides on the nearby Dolores River, which was flowing strong at 2,100 cubic feet per second. Jack's Plastics and Four Corners River Sports offered free demos of paddleboards, kayaks, and duckies. Demoing a prototype raft to better compete with the Chinese boat manufacturers, Errol Bade, owner of Jack's Plastics, a boating products company, said guides have been field testing it on the Dolores River, and we expect to start selling it this fall. 15 Fort Lewis College students conducted surveys of more than 300 festival goers as part of a study to gauge economic impacts. They said the college did a similar survey 6 years ago, so they can make a comparison. In particular, the market research is to determine if there is potential to extend the festival to 2 days. Montezuma County Sheriff Deputy David Van Biber patrolled the festival on a mountain bike and reported no problems. The town of Dolores and the Dolores River boating advocates are happy with another successful year.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a Cortez man was charged this week in district court on suspicion of peeping into a bathroom at the Durango Welcome Center on Main Avenue. Hernando Tsosi, 39, faces one count of invasion of privacy for sexual gratification, a felony. He was being held Wednesday at the La Plata County Jail on a $7,500 bail, according to police, and an arrest affidavit. Tsosi looked over a bathroom stall on at least 2 occasions while a 9-year-old girl used the bathroom about 3:30 p.m. May 31st. The girl ran out of the restroom screaming for her mother, according to the affidavit. The girl's father went to confront Tsosi and found him masturbating in the woman's bathroom, according to the affidavit. Tsosi attempted to push past the father multiple times in an attempt to leave, but the father prevented him from leaving until law enforcement arrived. The family was apparently visiting because they were staying at a local motel, said Commander Rita Warfield with the Durango Police Department. People that are hanging out and appear to be loitering for those types of purposes would be removed right away, Warfield said. But I don't think anybody really saw this person come in and go into the girl's bathroom. Tsosi appeared to be intoxicated at the time of his arrest, she said.
Reported in the Cortez Journal, Southwest Health System has purchased a 2017 F-350 ambulance to add to its emergency medical services fleet. Built by Braun Northwest in Chehalis, Washington, the new ambulance is known for its safety features, benefiting occupants and medical providers. The vehicle features military-grade suspension and a forward-looking infrared camera, which helps emergency medical personnel identify animals and pedestrians at night. The FLIR technology can provide cost savings by avoiding dangerous encounters at night. The vehicle was purchased using the provider grant awarded by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, which EMS Chief Matt Lindsay applied for in 2016. The grant also paid for a second ambulance, which is expected to arrive in Cortez in the fall. That ambulance is currently being displayed around the Northwest because of its high level of innovation. According to a news release from Southwest Health, the different color scheme on the new ambulance and the van ambulance that arrived earlier this year is a nod to the original orange and white ambulance color schemes. The charcoal body color was featured in an EMS show in Las Vegas. Lindsay and EMS Supervisor Scott Anderson wanted to bring the classic orange accents with a new twist back to Cortez. Southwest Health EMS operates 6 ambulances in Cortez, Dolores, and Mancos and covers about 2,800 square miles. They run approximately 3,000 calls per year, Southwest Health said, which has increased significantly over the past 5 years. Southwest Health also has a paramedic program, provides long-distance transport service, and an accredited EMS training center.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a shooting death that occurred last month in a mobile home park 3 miles west of Durango was part of a marijuana robbery, according to charging documents made public Friday. 3 suspects, Kevin Goff, age 27, Michael Jones, age 19, and Elise Rios, age 19, were formally charged Friday with first-degree murder, which is punishable by life in prison or the death penalty. All 3 waived formal reading of the charges and possible penalties, meaning their attorneys advised them of both. In addition to murder, all 3 are charged with felony robbery, menacing, and tampering with physical evidence. Jones also is charged with being a felon in possession of a weapon. The Texas trio is suspected of robbing and shooting David Gayton, age 34, of Durango on May 14th in the Lightner Creek Mobile Home Park, 907 Lightner Creek Road, County Road 207. A handgun was used in the shooting, according to charging documents. Arrest affidavits, which typically provide brief narratives in support of probable cause for making an arrest, remain under seal and unavailable for public inspection in all 3 cases. The Durango Herald made a formal request Friday asking Judge William Herringer to unseal the documents. Gayton's death marks the 3rd shooting death involving marijuana during the past 3 years in La Plata County. Other shooting deaths include one on March 16, 2015 at the Iron Horse Inn, and another on May 24, 2016 in the Sky Ridge subdivision. Another half-dozen armed robberies have occurred during that time, with marijuana being the thing of value.
From the Cortez Journal, after recommending approval for a Kinder Morgan carbon dioxide well and a rezoning request for the Empire Electric Association, the Montezuma County Planning Commission had an in-depth discussion on a variety of local development issues last Thursday. Planning Director Leanne Milligan said the county's comprehensive plan and land use code are outdated and need to be updated. The comprehensive plan is an overreaching document outlining overall county goals. The land use code has the policies and regulations that govern specific county development. Milligan said a lot has changed since the last comp plan was formed in 1996. It needs a new vision. Some of the updates for the comprehensive plan discussed include a county recreation section, a mineral resource section, a policy on federal lands, co-governance, and a section on renewable energy such as solar, biochar, hydro, and wind. The land use code could then be updated all at once to reflect the county's new long-term vision. Some regulations need to be changed to comply with state laws or are in need of upgrades. For example, the county is still operating off of the 1997 Uniform Building Code. Proposed changes to both documents would go through a public review and comment process. During the planning meeting's public comment period, Ellen Foster brought up the apparent contradiction between the county's and state's noise standards. According to county regulations, the noise limit in the day from the property boundary must be less than 70 decibels and no more than 55 decibels at night, as established by Colorado Revised Statute 25-12-101. However, according to that state statute, the noise limit in the day is 55 decibels and 50 decibels at night for residential, and for commercial properties, the state limit is 60 decibels in the day and 55 decibels at night, and for light industrial properties, it's 70 in the day and 65 at night. She recommended that the standards be revised to come into compliance with the state. The Planning Commission also discussed appropriate setbacks along the Dolores River and variances. The Planning Commissioners all said they support keeping the 100-foot setback requirement in place and allowing for county-approved variances to go closer to the river if structural engineering mitigation measures are done to handle floodwaters. Commissioner Rob Pope said the Dolores River setback variances allow for flexibility because each situation is different and should be handled on a case-by-case basis. Commissioner Bob Clayton said the purpose of the setback and engineered upgrades process for variances is to prevent structures from coming loose in a flood situation and causing downstream hazards. Milligan said there is a general concern that county landowners will build in violation of the land use code, which causes problems later and sets a bad precedent. The county does not have a code compliance officer. Planning board members said maybe it should be considered.
According to the Cortez Journal, on Wednesday, the Dolores School Board drafted changes to its school-based suicide intervention guidelines during a lengthy meeting that included votes on several other policy changes. The board presented the current rules and received input from School Resource Officer David Van Biber and Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin on possible changes. They also approved a first reading of some changes to the district's policies on non-discrimination, staff records, immunization, and administration of medicine, all of which were recommended by the Colorado Association of School Boards. The board plans to vote on the final version of the intervention policy at its next public meeting. Right now, the district's guidelines ask all school staff to notify a counselor, social worker, or school psychologist when they believe a student is at risk, so that they can perform a basic suicide risk assessment. If the counselor believes there is a high risk, the guidelines suggest contacting the parents, and if the parents can't be reached, transporting the student to Access Health Systems or the emergency room at Southwest Memorial Hospital. Since January, Nowlin has repeatedly asked the school board to consider revising these guidelines to include more communication with law enforcement and more follow-up with families. The guidelines do mention getting law enforcement support if school staff believe a student is in imminent danger or is carrying a weapon. But Nowlin said he would like the sheriff's office to be notified for every child at risk, so that deputies can follow up after school hours. He noted that law enforcement officers, unlike school staff, have the authority to take an at-risk child from their home to the hospital if their parents refuse to do so. Secondary Principal Jennifer Huffman said she wanted to work more closely with the sheriff's office, but she and other staff members are sometimes confused about how to do so. And now here's our weather report.
The red flag warning, which began during the weekend, will run at least until 11 p.m. tonight. Within that red flag warning, there's a wind advisory in place that began at about 10 a.m. and will run until 7 p.m. Wind gusts today may reach as high as 55 miles an hour and tonight as high as 45. Prevailing daytime speeds are estimated at 25 to 30 and nighttime at 20 to 30. Tomorrow, the forecast is for a drop to 5 to 15 prevailing. As you can easily see, even though wind speeds may be down, things are still very dry. The system centered over Nevada and southeastern Oregon will continue moving in a northeasterly path. Therefore, dry weather will continue for DCTV country. The Uinta Mountains in northeast Utah should have some showers today and overnight lingerers. Areas northwest of Grand Junction will have mostly cloudy skies tonight. By tomorrow afternoon, some storm activity may still be in the northernmost Colorado Rockies, barely in the state, as that system begins to get into the high plains. So all we will have seen was the winds. It was the primary cause of, but thankfully they will be greatly reduced tomorrow. And at my place, we'll have only about 60 to 70% of a mass of wild yellow rose blossoms obliterated. Not unusual at all, but these winds are surely not fun and they disturb the cat. Sunny and clear into Thursday night at least is the forecast. The system producing our wind is passing through the Great Basin and Rockies. That's the leading part of which is moving eastward and entering the northern and central plains and the upper Midwest through midweek. Gulf moisture feeding northward ahead of the advancing front will help initiate strong convection from the high plains to the upper Mississippi Valley. Severe thunderstorms are likely to develop near the Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska border today. The threat area will shift to the eastern Dakotas and upper Midwest today and tomorrow as that front progresses across the northern tier states. Any of these storms will have the potential to produce heavy rainfall that could lead to flash flooding. Showers and thunderstorms will develop over parts of the northern Maine today, and virtually the entire northern part of the lower 48 is involved in current wet weather activity to one degree or another, and that's very large yellow severe thunderstorm and red flash flood warning areas possible. So Gulf moisture and an upper level impulses produce showers and thunderstorms over parts of the western Gulf Coast and the southeast. Rain with some thunderstorms will spread from parts of the Pacific Northwest and Northern California into parts of the northern and central Rockies and Great Basin, with that big load tracking from the Great Basin into the northern plains. Some of the higher elevations of the Sierras and well into the Great Basin, as well as northern Idaho and southwest Montana, can have snow this evening and into Tuesday. Starting out with a 70 due to that distant low leaving us and these near raging winds and the low producing them, our high temps will progress upwards steadily, and by Saturday the forecast has that first clearly 90s temperature at 93. But our cool nights are still here and will start at 41 and run up to 54. Saturday's high-low differential is 39 degrees. So late June in Dove Creek, you can overheat and overcool all in 24 hours. Don't forget the red flag warning. Keep the wind advisories in mind and keep your hopes up for tomorrow for relief in that wind speed. A big swing is a threat to small children and those with health compromises of many kinds. So keep an eye out for them. Now back to the news.
This story is from the Cortez Journal. Frequent dry spells have motivated McPhee Reservoir managers to create a draft drought contingency plan, and they have extended the public comment period. Since 2000, drought conditions left the reservoir unfilled 3 times, causing water shortages for farmers and hurting the native fishery and whitewater boating on the Dolores River below the dam. McPhee irrigators and the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Fish Pool received 25 to 30% of their full allocation in 2002 and 2013, and 50% allocation in 2003. The loss in farm economy hurt the local economy, but improved efficiencies could have lessened the blow. The draft plan is an evaluation of mitigation and response actions to reduce water shortages and provide greater drought resiliency, said Ken Curtis, chief engineer with the Dolores Water Conservancy District during a meeting Wednesday in Cortez. Water managers admit they have been addressing drought management on the fly and need a more comprehensive long-range approach. The report notes that the region's arid climate depends on unpredictable mountain snowpack to fill local reservoirs. Based on hydraulic data of the Dolores River that feeds McPhee, runoff yields have varied from 80,000 acre-feet to more than 600,000 acre-feet over the past 50 years. Seemingly fickle runoff conditions can change overnight. For example, in 2015, managers expected a 40% supply in early spring, but the Miracle May dumped record amounts of rain and snow and filled the reservoir. Since 2000, there have only been 5 years where precipitation in the Dolores Basin was above average. A key goal of the drought plan is to focus on measures that increase carryover storage of water in McPhee Reservoir from one year to the next. Ideas in the plan are wide-ranging. Larger concepts include replacing open canals with pipelines to prevent evaporation and building a reservoir at Plateau Creek to store water for the downstream fishery.
Last week's CO2 average in at 409.65, with the week before last reminder at 409.52. 1 year ago, 406.77. Lastly, 10 years back was 386.81. June 6th, new research from the University of Texas Institute for Geophysics suggests El Nino and global warming combined to push temperatures past record highs during April 2016 in Southeast Asia. Researchers built models to determine to what extent El Nino was responsible for Southeast Asia extreme temperatures. In recent years, climate scientists have improved models used to quantify the link between climate change and extreme weather phenomena. The latest models were supplied with climate data collected by both land and ocean monitors. Statistical analysis methods helped researchers tease out the impact of El Nino and global warming on spring temperatures in Southeast Asia. Their analysis of April highs over the last 50 years showed 15 out of 16 corresponded with an El Nino pattern. But while the strength of El Nino fluctuated, the growing influence of global warming was steady. Their analysis found El Nino was to blame for roughly 2/3 of the nation or that region's heat wave, while global warming accounted for the remaining third. According to the lead researcher, Kaustubh Tirumalai, a postdoctoral fellow at University of Texas Institute for Geophysics, the El Nino system primes mainland Southeast Asia for extremes, although long-term warming is undoubtedly exacerbating these hot Aprils. Pedro Denizio, a research associate at the university, said, because of long-term warming, even a weaker El Nino than 2015 to 16 event in the mid to late 21st century could cause bigger impacts.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, after months of training, the first 3 horses in the new Montezuma County Sheriff's Office Mounted Patrol Program are adjusting to their new home. On Wednesday, representatives from the Colorado Bureau of Land Management, which donated the horses to the sheriff in March, visited Cortez to see how the newest members of county law enforcement were doing. The Mustang geldings, currently known as Kojak, Pope, and Charlie, have spent several weeks training with their assigned deputies, but Sheriff Steve Nowlin said they still have more to learn before they can go out on patrol. By next year, he hopes to be ready to use them for everything from crowd control at outdoor festivals to search and rescue missions. Originally, Nowlin planned to get 2 horses from a Canyon City holding center through BLM's Wild Horse and Burro program, but he ended up finding 3 that seemed perfect for the department. They have been training with the first members of the Mounted Patrol, Deputy Don Brown and Detective Yvonne McLellan. Nowlin said the 3rd rider he was training had to leave the program, and he's searching for a replacement. BLM Field Manager Connie Clemenson said this is the first time she's helped secure horses for a law enforcement agency, although the U.S. Border Patrol often adopts horses through the program. If the Mounted Patrol succeeds here, she said she expects to donate horses to more sheriffs and police departments in the future. After being captured from wild Mustang ranges in Oregon, Idaho, and Wyoming, the horses were gentled with the help of inmates at a prison in Canyon City, along with hundreds of other horses in the program. When they arrived in Montezuma County, they spent about 2 months with Reserve Deputy Ted Holland, who is an experienced horse trainer, to make sure they were ready to ride. For the past 2 weeks, they've lived in the new stable next to the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office. McLellan and Brown have spent time with them almost every day, bonding with their horses and training them to remain calm around loud noises and commotion. Both officers said they've made speedy progress.
From the Cortez Journal, organizer Karen Lovelian said after pulling out of a plan to host their event southwest of Mancos on Road G, the Rhythm and Soul Festival will indeed take place in Cottonwood Park from September 29th to October 1st. Organizers previously had applied for a special permit from Montezuma County to host the festival southwest of town, but they withdrew their permit application after several neighbors of the proposed site protested. Instead, they obtained a permit from the town of Mancos to use Cottonwood Park. Lovelian said the 3-day festival is family-friendly and focused on spirituality. What we're trying to do is honor all, Lovelian said. This is all about helping people move forward in their lives. The festival will feature live music and other performances, as well as yoga and spiritual workshops, according to the festival website. No drugs or alcohol will be allowed at the event. Lovelyan said she expects more than 1,000 spectators, and organizers are planning for 2,000 or more. The festival starts at 2:30 p.m. Friday, September 29th, and continues through 4 p.m. Sunday, October 1st, according to the website. Festival mornings will start at 7 a.m. with yoga and workshops, followed by live music in the afternoons. She expects music to last until 10 or 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights of the event. Since some Mancos households border Cottonwood Park, Lovelyan said organizers plan to meet with the neighbors and work with them. She said festival personnel will do their best to minimize the festival's impact. Spectator traffic will be diverted south through town along Main Street and then west along Road J. Cars will pass through the traffic light at U.S. Highway 160 and Main Street, which is the route that the Colorado Department of Transportation recommended. Organizers are still finalizing parking arrangements for the event, but they will make sure spectators don't park on the town streets or block driveways. Lovelyan said people may contact her at 970-759-4637 with comments or questions about the festival. For more information online, you can go to agapedurango.org. The Rhythm and Soul Festival is organized by Agape Durango, a nonprofit spiritual group. Teacher and author Michael Bernard Beckwith founded the group in 1996. The group puts on workshops, concerts, sacred services, and other events. Lovelyan said she hopes the festival will be a positive experience and will give a boost to the economy of the town.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of June 5th through the 11th. Reports were taken of telephone scam calls coming from local phone numbers unassigned to any resident. A caller reported harassment. A deputy talked to both parties and further investigation will be done. Numerous reports were made of reckless drivers in Cajon. The descriptions of the vehicles and drivers were accurate enough for the sheriff's office to follow up and make contact with the drivers. A resident requested animal control to report being bit by a dog in town. While on routine patrol, a deputy noticed a helicopter near Cajon. It was learned that Tri-State was in the area patrolling their lines. An out-of-state motorist passing through Dove Creek area in a motorhome took on a hitchhiker on Highway 491. The motorist learned the hitchhiker was a juvenile and immediately turned around, heading to the sheriff's office to take the juvenile to safety. Once stopped, the juvenile fled. With the assistance through reports from the motorist and residents of Dove Creek and the response from Colorado State Patrol and Dolores County Sheriff's Office, the runaway was again located and brought to safety once again. That's it for this week's Roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. The 4th annual Fun Color Run and Walk for the Alec Tabor Scholarship Fund will kick off the Pick and Hoe events in Dove Creek on Saturday, July 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. at Weber Park. To sign up, email alectabor5k@gmail.com. It's $60 for a team of 5 and $15 for individuals. To receive a t-shirt, you must register by next Monday, June 19th. For any questions, call Carrie at 970-734-5910. Coming up on June 30th, there will be free training at the Montezuma County Annex in Cortez from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., presented by Ending Violence Against Women Project. Course topics cover alcohol, drug-facilitated assault, building a case, evidence collection, the consent defense, trauma-informed practices, and victims with disabilities. To register, go online to tinyurl.com/SACortez2017. For more info about the course, go to dcacweb.com or call 303-830-9115. And this week on June 15th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Thursday Downtown Market in Cortez, live music will be played by Sand Chef of Moab, Utah. Participate in the 1 million salutes with the U.S. Flag of Honor and get a free Cortez ball cap. The event is held on the corner of Market and Montezuma. For vending info, call 970-564-4096. And all of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call us at the station 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
And be sure to check out DCTV News at Noon on Facebook. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.